province lays out its priorities for the fall, what the Saskatchewan government has planned in the coming months. Pressure mounts on the province as overcrowding at a Saskatoon hospital causes workers to sound the alarm. What frontline staff say is the solution to end hallway medicine. And celebrating a milestone in cardiac care, the program providing a heart-to-heart support.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
With the provincial government's priorities, as Wayne Mantika tells us, it plans to move on addictions treatment, provide better protection for victims of interpersonal violence, and tackle trade and tailgating parties. Wayne Mantika has a preview of what to expect.
Uncertainty created by American and Chinese tariffs.
Our government will continue to make every effort to work collaboratively with the federal government toward our shared goals of a strong and growing Saskatchewan within a strong and united Canada.
In outlining its plans for the year ahead, the government said it will introduce compassionate care legislation that would force a limited number of addicts into treatment.
Introducing legislation that will require individuals who may be a threat to themselves or others to enter into addictions program, ensuring that they get the help that they need while keeping our communities safe and secure.
The move has the support of some in the inner city who have witnessed the impact of drug addiction in the area.
There's all kinds of treatment centers out there for everybody, even people on alcoholism.
I think it would be a good idea to help them out and, assess them and see what really is the real problem with them, what they really need help with.
It would benefit everyone because it'll take them off the street. It would put them in the right direction.
The throne speech also promises to work with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders in developing a framework for tailgate parties at games.
Could we look at some enabling regulations that are in this space? And we thought, well, why not?
That idea has the support of many Rider fans.
Yeah, I mean, the more fans involved and coming to the games, all the better.
Yeah, I might go. I think it's okay. No problem.
I totally enjoy a tailgate system. Kind of like, I think Calgary has it. A few other places have it, and that would be fun.
Over the months ahead, the government will also have to address the economic consequences of tariffs. The Premier says the impact will be felt on government finances, both federally and provincially. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Meanwhile, outside the legislature, there was a pro-Palestinian protest over Premier Scott Moe's cooperation with Israel. It stems from Moe meeting with Israel's ambassador to Canada last month to discuss the future of the economic relationship between Israel and Saskatchewan. Those attending the protest say Saskatchewan shouldn't be taking a position like this when it comes to Israel.
I think people are really frustrated with Premier Moe in that he's the only premier that has come out publicly and expressed wanting to expand trade with Israel with these war crimes, genocide. Why else would you do that? No other premier has done that. Prime Minister Mark Carney has not expressed a desire to expand trade with Israel, and that's a political position that he's taking.
In a post about the meeting with Israel's ambassador, the Premier said discussions focused on technological cooperation and market diversification. Moe added he was confident in what he called the strong mutual opportunities and future of the two parties' relations. Hundreds of healthcare workers at Royal University Hospital are the latest to sound the alarm over overcrowded emergency rooms, calling on the province to take immediate action. CTV's Stacey Hine on the letter they wrote and the solutions they are seeking.
Of paramount concern is the growing impact of overcrowding on patient safety.
Sarah Peters, along with hundreds of other healthcare workers at Royal University Hospital, is calling for immediate action to address overcrowding and hallway care in the emergency department.
We felt that we needed to pause and reflect on the current state of healthcare in Saskatchewan, and it's heavily reflected in what goes on in the emergency department.
She penned a letter to the province detailing the concerns, backed by 400 250 signatures.
The current direction and mandates and incentives that the government's doing is just not being as effective as we hoped it be.
Premier Scott Moe says the province is taking action to address healthcare concerns.
And I thank them for using their voice and raising these important issues. And what I would say is this very much parallels largely with what we've heard from Saskatchewan people over the course of the past year.
Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says the main focus is recruiting and retaining healthcare workers.
What is going to help, I think, the most is making sure that the incredible doctors and nursing and other staff across our system have more people on their team.
The Saskatchewan Union of Nurses says the province needs to act on the solutions outlined in the letter.
Kudos to the courage to speak up, and we're hoping to continue that conversation and make sure that there is a response with actual actions attached to it.
Peters says some solutions can be implemented immediately. She hopes the letter sparks change as everyone works towards a common goal.
We want to create change, and it very much aligns with what the government's mandate is. We're all about patient care. Everybody wants patient care to improve.
Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new report suggests Canada is burning through its younger nurses at an alarming rate, and Saskatchewan is no exception. Think tank MEI has found more for every 100 nurses under the age of 35 who registered to practice, 40 others did not renew their registration in 2023. In Saskatchewan, 38 nurses under 35 left the profession for every 100 who entered it in 2023. The report also says vacancies for nursing jobs have also tripled nationwide over a 5-year span and were nearly 42,000 in 2023. The authors said the findings show the importance of offering staffing flexibility to keep younger nurses in the profession. A deal in place for a private group to operate Saskatoon's future downtown arena has undergone some notable changes. After striking a deal last summer, Oakview Group paused its deal and came back to the city for a new 25-year deal that aims to bring in more money to the city over the course of the deal. But it also incentivizes Oakview to bring in more money every year. If the arena makes up to $2 million profit, Oakview takes a 50% cut as opposed to 10% in the original deal, but anything between $2 and $4 million profit all goes to the city. Dan Willems, who is leading the Entertainment District project, feels the city got a good deal.
Protection from operating losses is a big one for us, and the massive swing of the incentive fees towards our favor over the higher performing ranges will result in greater revenues for the city.
Oakview is contributing $15 million up front, down $5 million from the previous deal, but the city says it can get up to $65 million more under this new structure. Well, Jeff, another decent day out there today.
I think pretty swell. And if we take a look in the future, which we will, the forecast is looking very promising. If by promising, we mean warmer temperatures and not much in the way of wind. That's what's shaping up at least in the next 7 days. But a lot of active weather out in the Great Lakes and off Canada's west coast. But in between, things are looking pretty quiet, and we'll talk about those quiet conditions later on.
More police officers were called to Saskatoon's Court of King's Bench today amid safety concerns of a Crown witness. The witness was called to testify for a second day in the case of a man on trial in the death of his girlfriend. CTV's Laura Woodward explains.
Saskatoon police officers surrounded the courtroom where Andrew Rosenfeld's second-degree murder trial is being held. Rosenfeld is accused of killing his 20-year-old girlfriend, Nakira Brown, who was found shot dead on November 15, 2022, inside this apartment they shared on Avenue P South. Court heard that Rosenfeld and Brown had been dating for about a year and were both members of the Terror Squad street gang. Police officers showed up as a former gang member took the stand for the second day. The Crown prosecutor said the safety of the witness has become an issue. Quote, somehow information has gotten out that she had testified about Terror Squad secrets. The Crown raised concerns about Rosenfeld's communication with his mother. Quote, we've had some people in the courtroom see her step out and make phone calls after certain names were mentioned during testimony. The former gang member testified that she and Brown had planned to go for a walk. But under cross-examination, she admitted the walk was actually a planned mission permission to attack a fellow gang member as retribution. The judge told the gallery she hopes people in the courtroom have an understanding of potential safety issues and don't take advantage of the information shared. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Peers of a 19-year-old Regina man who was stabbed to death at a graduation party in 2006 are taking the stand, detailing what they saw the night he was killed. One witness testified Misha Pavlik threw a beer bottle at another person, starting one of the many fights which broke out that evening. Another classmate telling court Pavlik was face down on the ground as two men kicked him. 40 other witnesses are still expected to testify as the trial is scheduled over the next 4 weeks. Prince Albert police are releasing more information about a tense situation in the city yesterday, now saying 2 people were stabbed. Officers were called to Donaldson Street just before 6 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers found a 20-year-old man and a 19-year-old man who were both taken to hospital suffering from stab wounds. The 20-year-old had life-threatening injuries and is still in hospital. The 19-year-old has since been released. Officers arrested 3 people for aggravated assaults, but were released without charges. Saskatchewan is being eyed up as a key place for nuclear energy going forward. As Keenan Sorokon reports, that was the main consensus as members of the nuclear energy industry met in the city this week.
Recent history hasn't been easy for Saskatchewan's nuclear industry. Following the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in 2011, demand for uranium plummeted, and Cameco CEO Tim Gitzel was forced to lay off thousands of workers. Today, Saskatchewan's outlook is dramatically different.
Today, we're living in a moment of what I would call unprecedented momentum for nuclear power, the likes of which I have not seen in over 40 years in this business.
With global economies looking towards net zero and sustainable energy, as well as the massive demand for electricity in the race to artificial intelligence, nuclear energy is now part of the conversation.
Nuclear energy stepping forward not quietly, but confidently as a cornerstone solution for the world.
The province established 4 research chairs at different Saskatchewan post-secondaries to help support the growth of nuclear energy. With plans for small modular reactors, Premier Scott Moe hopes nuclear energy will eventually be powering Saskatchewan.
So it's an exciting time, an exciting time for the world as we, I think, truly have direction on how we're going to work together to provide global energy security. An exciting time for North America, despite the very difficult discussions that are happening.
Despite being a landlocked province with a relatively small population, leaders here are taking notice of Saskatchewan welcoming and powering nuclear energy.
People are seeing Saskatchewan as a leader. That's going to play a very important role, not only in the province, but also beyond.
Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A program in Saskatoon that offers hope and healing to cardiac patients is celebrating a milestone this year. As Carla Shinkaruk found out, for thousands of people who have been part of this support group over the last 40 years, every heartbeat tells a story.
Oh, I'm here 5 days a week.
Terry Usick and Cliff Marchuk are here at the Fieldhouse getting some exercise. But what brought them here is much more than fitness. They've faced the fight of their lives.
They did a blood test. 5 o'clock that afternoon, I got a phone call from the doctor, and he says, you need to call 911 and go to the hospital. You're having a heart attack.
Failed a stress test and went to emergency a couple months later, and they took me in and thought it was the stents would fix my problem. It turned out to be a triple bypass.
Now they're helping others because they're part of the volunteer-run Coronary Artery Rehabilitation Group, or CARG.
Life doesn't end once you have a heart condition. What CARG offers you is fitness, fellowship, and health.
CARG members come together here for fitness and are also connected with any special services they need. They also visit patients in hospital, sharing their stories.
And we say, hi, my name is Terry. I had a heart attack 7 years ago, and I was where you are. The day that they're in a hospital recovering from either a stent or open heart surgery is one of the toughest days of their life.
CARG has been doing this since 1985. They're celebrating a big anniversary.
Over 40 years, we've helped over 5,000 people. Right now, our membership is well over 400.
The program is one of a kind. They even get inquiries asking for advice to start a similar group in other cities across the country.
We're unique to Canada. There are programs similar, but we're unique because we're all volunteer driven. Everything we do is raised, the funds are raised through membership dues.
So with every step, this group proving that healing is stronger when shared.
I love going and talking to people, and they're so enthusiastic. So does it lengthen life? I'm going to say yes, it does.
Carla Shinkirk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Residents may have noticed some smoke in the air south of the city, part of a fire training exercise. Prescribed fire activities were planned for Cranberry Flats, Chief Whitecap Park, and Beaver Creek conservation areas, as well as Brightwater Science and Environmental Center and the NCC Asquith Conservation Area. The burns are part of a 5-day live fire training event hosted by the Meewasin Valley Authority and Canadian Prairie's Prescribed Fire Training Exchange. It brings more than 60 participants from across North America to focus on building capacity, strengthening interagency partnerships, and advancing ecological restoration. The First Nations University of Canada celebrated its updated Newiscon Traditional Campus today. The land-based education campus is located north of the South Saskatchewan near St. Louis. The renewal, including water infrastructure, was funded through the federal and provincial governments for $2.4 million. The First Nations University contributed $1 million. The campus has been active since 2021 and will continue to serve as a permanent land-based learning environment for university members, students, and elders.
Of course, there's teaching involved, there's storytelling, but there's also that holistic support that occurs here.
This is the newest of the First Nations University of Canada's 4 campuses. A long-serving member of our team here at CTV Saskatchewan celebrated a milestone today. Wayne Mantika is marking 50 years with CTV News in Regina. He started his television career at what was then known as CKCK-TV in 1975. Today, Bell Media, the parent company of CTV News, formally recognized his 50 years with a Bravo Award, the highest honor any Bell employee can receive. Wayne has covered everything from major trials to provincial politics. So a big congratulations going out to Wayne tonight. Still to come, another blow to the automotive industry in Canada. Also, the Prime Minister's push to pass the budget and keep his government standing. A Quebec manufacturing plant of trucks is laying off 300 workers. The job losses north of Montreal come days after the U.S. imposed tariffs of 25% on the import of medium and heavy-duty vehicles. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin has those details.
The union says the 300 workers who were laid off are the latest victims in the tariff war raging between Canada and the United States. PACCAR assembles Kenworth and Peterbilt trucks, and this wave of layoffs here comes days after the U.S. imposed a 25% tariff on medium and heavy-duty trucks. There have been earlier rounds of cuts here, and for workers leaving at the end of their shifts today, this was a difficult day.
Oh, it's very heavy. I mean, yeah, it's very heavy. Like it's the second time since not that long.
PACCAR is based in Seattle, and the company declined to comment today. But the union says PACCAR is refocusing on making trucks for the Canadian market, though it's much smaller. And while a year ago 92 trucks rolled off the assembly line here a day, that number is now down to 18, sparking concern as to the very survival of the company here. The union is urging all levels of government to do their part and buy Canadian, become clients, and buy the trucks that are made here. For the city of Sainte-Thérèse, this is a big blow. This is the only major plant on its territory. And along with the hundreds of well-paying jobs that were lost, today there are hundreds more on the line in indirect labor. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Sainte-Thérèse, Quebec.
A big day for Mark Carney with a speech about the economy, and there's a lot at stake. The Prime Minister met with the leaders of the Bloc and Conservative parties with the budget 2 weeks away. Michael Couture sets the scene for us.
What is the message you hope to convey to Canadians tonight with your address?
message will be conveyed in the address. But
the Prime Minister was tight-lipped ahead of his evening speech, which is being given to students who are entering the workforce at a moment of rupture in our history.
We have to make major investments in our economic capacity and our trade capacity. And I haven't seen the speech, but I'm sure he'll be talking about some of those things.
CTV News has learned the speech will focus on 4 themes: diversifying trade partners away from the U.S., a new talent and immigration plan to fill the workforce's needs, climate, and the core principle of the budget, to spend less and invest more. After an early morning meeting with the Prime Minister, the leader of the Bloc Québécois said his MPs will support the budget if some key demands are met, including increasing health transfers to the provinces by more than $11 billion.
It's their responsibility and only theirs to find somebody to vote with them. They know our conditions, and if they wake up a little bit late, it's once again their problem.
Ahead of his meeting with the Prime Minister, the Conservative leader was open to collaboration.
And if he takes my suggestions of bringing down the deficit to the level the Liberal government promised, of getting rid of the hidden taxes on food, well, then let's have a look at it.
Now, if the Liberals can't get opposition support for November's budget, the government would fall, and there would be the second election in just 7 months. But multiple MPs say Canadians aren't in the mood for that. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ukrainian officials say Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack across Ukraine, killing at least 6 people. At least 8 cities were struck, including the capital, where 29 people were injured. The wider Kiev region was also targeted, as well as Zaporizhia and a city in southern Odessa region. The country's energy infrastructure was also hit, causing rolling blackouts. U.S.-led efforts to end the war have floundered, and Ukraine's president has appealed for more military help. The International Court of Justice says Israel must allow a UN aid agency in Gaza to provide humanitarian assistance. The court was asked last year by the UN General Assembly to determine Israel's legal obligations after the agency, known as UNRWA, was effectively banned from operating in the territory. Israel has denied it has violated international law, saying the court's proceedings are biased. It insists that it is infiltrated by Hamas, which the agency denies. Today's advisory opinion from the World Court was issued as a fragile ceasefire agreement continues to hold. Sky-high resale prices for Blue Jays World Series tickets have Ontario's Premier considering legislative action.
When you have one player in the market that controls the tickets, that's not right for the people. So we're reviewing that right now.
Doug Ford saying his government is looking into legislation to cap resale ticket prices. It comes after tickets for the Jays World Series run quickly sold out on Ticketmaster, only for many to pop up again at a major markup up to $19,000. Ford's government struck down part of legislation in 2019 that would have capped resale prices at 50% of the original value.
Artist, and I'm here on tour with Danielle Pélequin-Hoffner, and we're on a Home Roots tour. We're going to play in Osler on October 26th and in Saskatoon on October 27th, and also in a bunch of other communities in Saskatchewan and northern Manitoba. So be sure to check out the details and the tickets on homeroots.ca. We'd really love to see you all there. So Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, Flora, we can tell you that things are looking very good for your performance times here in Saskatchewan. We'll talk about the first one that's coming up in Osler on Sunday, 7:30 start time for the concert. 13 degrees is the daytime high, so probably as we get closer to showtime, it'll be close to around 8 degrees thereabouts. But cloudy conditions, and once again, homeroots.ca for more information on this and other concerts that they are doing in our province. So now let's take a quick look at our numbers. Currently, it is 8 degrees in Saskatoon, 7 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords, Not particularly windy, maybe a moderate wind, if you want to call it that, in Saskatoon and the Battlefords, but light winds in Prince Albert. Clear skies right now. And Saskatoon's almanac, well, another above seasonal day. Look at that, 13 degrees, so 4 degrees above seasonal. The record warm temperature on this date, 22 degrees in 1963. The record cold temperature, a chilly okay, it's cold, it's not chilly, minus 18 degrees in 1933. The sun came up at 7:44 and it went down before 6 o'clock.
Coming up, a boost for youngsters with mobility issues, the program that's helping one step at a time.
Tomorrow on CTV's Your Morning Saskatchewan, we're previewing a country Christmas. Singer Beverly Mahood previews a star-studded holiday concert coming to Saskatchewan. You won't want to miss it.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. A little bit of color on the horizon, but we've had ourselves a pretty nice day. So clear skies right now. It's been a relatively sunny day, and it's going to be a sunny day, or mainly sunny skies will prevail in Saskatoon as we make our way into Thursday. But let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. And as I mentioned earlier on, a lot of active weather out of British Columbia and in the Great Lakes region, but in between things are pretty quiet, and they're going to stay that way, it seems. So we'll talk about why that is in just a little bit here. Numbers, just to recap what we talked about a little earlier on, 8 degrees in Saskatoon, 7 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. Our hot spots, well, Maple Creek was the hot spot today at 16 degrees. Val-Marie, the cold spot at -7. Now moving on to the roundup of our current temperatures. 10 degrees right now in Lloydminster and Regina, 9 in Swift Current and Estevan, 8 in Yorkton. Moose Jaw not reporting. Let's take a look at central Saskatchewan. As you can see, temperatures ranging from 4 degrees in Waskesiu up to 10 in Watrous. Many locations in and around that 6 or 7 degree mark. As we make our way up north, temperatures don't drop off big time. Well, they may be big time in Key Lake where it's 0 degrees, but these temperatures aren't atypical for this time of day, this time of year for northern Saskatchewan. So 4 degrees in Stony Rapids and La Ronge, 3 in Collins Bay, Sandy Bay, Island Falls, 2 in South End, 7 in Buffalo Narrows. And down south, still some double-digit temperatures there. Leader and Maple Creek both in at 11. As we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, I find it hard to believe that Weyburn is at -5, but we'll double-check the scores. But right now, 5 degrees in Broadview, 8 in Melville and Carlisle, 7 in Last Mountain and Elbow, 9 in Coronach. So here's our futurecast. So you can certainly see those pressure lines close together, those white lines. Mostly as this situation develops in BC and moves into Alberta, it starts to lighten up as we make our way into Saskatchewan. So a relatively quiet situation there. So the only reason I bring up this map, no watches or warnings in effect for Saskatchewan, but I wanted to point out the rainfall and wind warnings that are in effect for British Columbia. Some of that moisture, some of that warm air is coming our way, but it's going to scrub out the moisture, and so we're getting into some warm conditions in Saskatchewan, thanks much in many parts due to the warm air that is coming in out of the Pacific. So we've got ourselves 9 degrees for La Ronge tomorrow, 8 for Stony Rapids, 10 for Buffalo Narrows, 7 in Key Lake, into double-digit temperatures in west central Saskatchewan with a mix of sky conditions, 11 in Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, 14 in Kindersley, Rosetown, 15, and then lots of sunshine in the southwest. Temperatures around 16 or 17 degrees. Temperatures drop off a little bit in the southeast with mainly sunny or sunny skies, 12 in Yorkton, 14 in Regina, 16 in Moose Jaw, and 15 in Estevan. And into east central Saskatchewan, Melfort, Watrous, and Humboldt, all with mainly sunny skies tomorrow. Basically temperatures around 13 degrees, a little cooler in Hudson Bay, and they do anticipate some morning fog with a cloudy day in store for that part of the province. -1 degree with clear skies for the Battlefords, 11 tomorrow under mainly cloudy skies. And then look at this warm up, 14 on Friday, 16 on Saturday, Sunday, 9 degrees, a chance of some showers. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, yes, those are cooler temperatures, but they're close to seasonal. For Prince Albert and area, tonight's overnight temperature -2 degrees, 12 on the plus side for a high. And then we've got 13 degrees on Friday, Saturday 17, 11 on Sunday, and then back to seasonal temperatures Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Saskatoon's overnight temperature 1 on the plus side. Tomorrow warming up to 14 under mainly sunny skies, less windy conditions in the afternoon, and then 15 on Friday, Saturday 17, 11 on Sunday, and then temperatures hovering around 8 degrees for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Netflix has announced plans for a major merchandise push based on what's become its most streamed movie ever. The company says it's working with Mattel and Hasbro, both of them, to license a range of products based on the franchise K-pop Demon Hunters. Variety reports it's believed this is the first time the two rivals have given merch rights to the same property, a signal of strong forecasted demand. The Jim Henson Company today confirmed it's offering up a selection of puppets, props, and memorabilia to members of the public for the first time ever. The company behind The Muppets, Fraggle Rock, and other classics says more than 400 items will be up for sale at its Hollywood headquarters next month to mark its 70th anniversary. Proceeds will go toward preserving the Jim Henson Company's archives for future generations.
It's the biggest Oasis collection of music memorabilia to ever come to market anywhere in the world.
Now, speaking of auctions, fans now have a chance to pick up some unique pieces of Oasis history. 150 items from the band are up for offer as part of a larger music auction in London this week that's expected to bring in more than $5.5 million. Among the items from Oasis are keepsakes, including handwritten lyrics and instruments. Noel Gallagher's red Gibson guitar, which Liam Gallagher famously damaged on stage in 2009. Bad Brothers. It's expected to sell for as much as $937,000. Not 936, 937. We want to be precise.
Yes, this is true. All right, speaking of being precise, there is a big event coming up, and it's coming soon, taking shape in Saskatoon.
It's taking shape in Saskatoon, and it's in a lovely, well-lit area. If you're looking to see a wide variety of sculpture, the gallery at Innovation Place is the place to be, because the Prairie Sculptors Association is having their annual show. Paul Constable, one of the sculptors, is with us today. So, Paul, a little background. Who are the Prairie Sculptors in the association?
Well, the Prairie Sculptors have been around since 1982, 1983, so we've been here for 40-some years. Okay. And we're kind of going through a bit of a rebrand, a little bit of ourselves, just be a bit more out there for the people to know who we are a bit more. Kind of an eclectic group. We work in a multimedia, everything from clay and stone and steel and found materials. Mm-hmm. So this show here at the Galleria and Innovation Place is on till the 31st of October, but 9 to 5 during the week. And then this weekend we've got we kind of purchased a afternoon session, so 1 to 5 on Saturday, and then 1 to 5 on Sunday for our reception opening on Sunday. Oh. So that'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, it will be cool. Now, just out of curiosity, are these items for sale or some of them just for show?
Bit of both, yeah. There's actually quite a few pieces for sale. Artists, typically, you just call them and they'll make a deal.
Right on. So once again, right here at the Galleria Innovation Place, Prairie Sculptors Association having their annual show and exhibit, and you can see a wide variety of amazing artwork. And thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have?
We have a triple hit, and we're going to start off with this one. There you go. Now, this looks like the start of the Thames Broadcasting Network thing. Hey, John, work with me here, folks. This comes to us from Darren, and he simply says Saskatchewan River. So I don't know if it's the North or the South Saskatchewan. I'm sure someone will tell me, but still a lovely shot and a great reflection there. So thank you, Darren. And the next one comes to us from Brenda, another lovely outdoor shot. She was telling us, Brenda says these are tamarack trees taken on the highway to Candle Lake. And of course, tamaracks are those coniferous trees that actually change color and lose their needles. I know. Fun fact. Okay, moving on. And finally, two pictures for the price of one. Now, this is the same Blue Jay, but I have a funny feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Blue Jay pictures over the coming days. But this one is from John Beaudry. Blue Jay enjoying an afternoon swim. So I hope it's going to be swimming in home runs, but we'll see. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, a first for mobility in Saskatchewan, the technology helping young ones take big strides in their progress.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
A child taking their first steps is always a landmark moment. Now, a Regina-based company was just gifted a machine which will help many children who struggle with mobility learn to walk. Mick Favel tells us more.
When Leo was 6 months old, he was diagnosed with a genetic disorder which would likely impact his ability to walk. 3 years later, with the help of the Trexel walking device, Leo was in motion, taking a walk around the First Steps Wellness Center.
With a little bit therapies, we kind of got where he's right now. He is making some huge progress. With having the machine here, basically, it is helping us a lot.
The device is designed for children with mobility challenges. Kids at the center with cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, spinal cord injuries, and other neuromuscular conditions will be using the device. Those at the center say the new addition has revolutionized their child therapy program.
We are the first one in Saskatchewan that has one. We're the first nonprofit charity in all of Canada that has one. And there's only a handful of devices across the country. They're probably becoming more popular, but they are quite expensive because it's some very new and innovative technology.
Weight and height are factors for those who can use the machine. The child is seated inside with their waist and feet strapped in. Small motors at the waist and knees then propel the motion. Information on how they're doing is then fed back to the operator.
The machine doesn't force them through any movements. Like, it's all super gentle, and it lets me know how they're doing, if they're fighting it, if they're helping it. The super cool thing about it is you see with the iPad, we can adjust everything on the fly. So if the kids, just something isn't walking right, it's just a super quick fix.
Right now, there are spots open at the Center for Children who would benefit from the walking machine. It's one more device that can help clients pursue independence and a better quality of life.
We think it's remarkable. However, we also believe that the secret sauce to our facility and our organization is our staff. So the Trexo is just call it another tool on our tool belt, combined with other methods and other pieces of equipment we use to help kids regain function.
The Trexel walking device was gifted to the center by an anonymous donor. For kids like Leo, being able to put one foot in front of the other is priceless. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, the big tease for a big announcement, and plummeting pumpkins and much more.
Welcome back. We're taking a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow, and the temperatures are well above seasonal, double-digit temperatures in most locations. We're expecting 12 degrees for a high in Lloydminster, 14 in Kindersley, 16 in Outlook, 14 in Watrous. A number of 11s on the on the map, as you can see, but 9 degrees in Hudson Bay. We mentioned this before. Might be some morning fog, and we do anticipate more in the way of cloud cover for Hudson Bay than in other locations. Many locations dealing with sunny or mainly sunny skies. Outlook 16 degrees. Down south, 16 as well in Leader, 17 in Maple Creek, 15 in Rockland, 16 in Coronach. And towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures around 12 degrees. And let's take a look and see what's going on in the Duck Lake area. We've got partly cloudy skies tomorrow, 12 degrees, so nicely above seasonal temperatures, and winds out of the southeast at 20. So it's a moderate wind, but it is a southerly wind, so it will be a little on the warmer side. And Duck Lake is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wet Skates. Myself, Lee Jones, and Wes. Final regular season game. We know the Riders are going to finish first. But other than that, in the West, we know BC can finish anywhere 2nd to 4th. They could cross over. Winnipeg can finish 3rd to 4th, so they could cross over or be on the road in the West. And we just know Calgary is going to stay in the West. We just don't know whether they're going to host or be on the road for that Western semifinal. So this week, there's a lot on the line, except for Saskatchewan. So for you, how do you want them to approach this ball game?
You know, the Riders, it's going to be a situation where do you look at it like, okay, BC's likely going to be playing for something. I know it's the later game in the weekend, or Calgary will have played already. And so BC will probably have something to play for. I'm sure Calgary's going to try to get a win. So I think it's really a situation for the Riders where maybe you throw in the starters for a quarter if you know you're going to get BC starters. But really, at this stage in the game, I would probably just sit all the guys. But if you want to get a little, like dicey, get a little information, get your starters all prepped so that they don't have as long of a time off, kind of get them in there for that first quarter, bang against the BC first team and see kind of how you stack up, maybe and get an idea for what's going to go down in the Western Final potentially. But you'd say that, then you mess around and come out with a win. Now you're maybe playing against somebody else. So I think the safest bet is to kind of just sit your starters, come in healthy, and then let it play out. You know who your opponent's going to be based on likely not being able to beat BC with the second place guys.
Defensively, I just wanted to talk about what, especially against a guy like Nathan Rourke, what I will be interested to see is how well they play against this BC offense that has really moved the ball the last couple weeks. And more so, can they keep Rourke in the pocket? He's a guy that can run. I'd like to see them, you know, in the future, whether it's him, maybe a Vernon Adams that might run, how good they are keeping that quarterback from getting out.
I think if there is a defense that can contain Nathan Rourke, it is the Riders. But, I mean, he's shown that he's maybe uncontainable. You know, he kind of moves around in the pocket. He's kind of feeling the pressure well, especially this last month. He stepped up. We just saw last week he just ran a 70-yarder and made it look easy. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where you're going to have to keep him off schedule, really cover down on the back end, and try to run some stunts. I would like to see them continue to kind of blitz the linebackers. You know, I've seen A.J. Allen and Brooks Jr. getting home, and so maybe a few more blitzes at Nathan Rourke just to, hey, we'd rather have you getting it out of your hands quick than, you know, coverage getting further and further back. Then all of a sudden you're just running us to death and just have our guys chasing you all day. So I would say send the pressure, make him kind of make the quick decision. Hopefully we can get some tips or overthrows and get a couple turnovers that way. But just sitting back and letting him run around is probably not ideal.
Yeah, so it might not mean anything in the standings, at least for the Riders. Means everything for every other team that seems to be playing this week. But it'll be interesting to see how they match up against this Lions team. Could be a preview, or it could be a warm-up for another team. We'll analyze this game and then look forward to the Western semifinal on another edition of X's and O's.
Coming up, the tease that has Saskatchewan taking note. Then the Pumpkin Fest that proved to be a lot of fun.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, Jeff, the odds are pretty good that a major act is coming to Saskatchewan. The Maxtron at Mosaic Stadium has been teasing the logo for the band Foo Fighters with tomorrow's date. Also, a post to social media by Regina's Real District, which operates Mosaic Stadium, shows photos of people wearing Riders jerseys with the last names of the band members. And Real has scheduled a news conference teasing a major announcement for tomorrow morning at the stadium. So we'll keep you posted, but we're pretty sure we know what the announcement is.
I wonder what it could be. The band's logo and a date. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they have all of us talking and taking notes,
exactly.
So I guess it kind of worked.
I guess it kind of worked. They're still going to do really well with the ticket sales anyhow.
All right. Well, I think you'll like this story then if you didn't like that one.
Okay.
It was all things pumpkin in New Hampshire. Giant pumpkins took the plunge from almost 200 feet as part of the annual Giant Pumpkin Way Off and Regatta. People also turned giant gourds into a makeshift boat, paddling their pumpkins in a race against each other. And Jeff, I know you're wondering.
I am.
So I found this out for you. Organizers say in order for a pumpkin to support someone in a boat, it needs to weigh at least 1,000 pounds. So
okay,
there you go.
That's great to know.
You just have to grow a 1,000-pound pumpkin.
I know they have a big regatta like this out on Canada's East Coast as well. So, but I love the fact that they also have the 200-foot pumpkin drop.
Yeah,
I like that.
And all those people along the edge, I'm sure they didn't get splashed at all.
Well, that's the chances you take. It's like going to a Gallagher. Anyhow, let's take a look at these numbers. Here we go. I think that guy is no longer with us, so there's no point in talking about those things. As a comedian, you know, with the smack,
it'll be okay.
Sledge-o-matic.
Yeah.
4 degrees with sunshine and getting up to 12 in the afternoon, so not a bad day. Come along.
You're getting some laughs from upstairs.
I know.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Gallagher, come on.